wherein we shall begin with a new chapter, totally a new chapter, that is chapter 12. Chapter 12 from your Skylab course book, and it is a poetry, it is a poem entitled Gull. The name of the poem is Gull and it's written by Grace Nichols. So we will move ahead with a new poem that you have in chapter 12, that is Gull and it's written by Grace Nichols. So children, this poet, as you see here, Grace Nichols. She is Grace Nichols, the poet. She is a Guyanese poet and she lived in a small village on the country's coast. She lived in a small village in South America. And later this poet, Grace Nichols, she took a diploma in communications and she worked as a teacher, and then after she even worked as a journalist, and later she enrolled herself in Government Information Center. And in the year 1977, Grace Nichols, she moved to UK and there she began writing number of poems. So children, as I told you earlier, the name of the poem is Gull. What is a gull? Look at this. This is a gull. A gull is a long-winged and web-footed seabird that basically ventures, that basically dwells and lives in seas and oceans. So gull is a seabird. So here in the poem Gull, the poet Grace Nichols, she talks about a seabird named Gull. So this is a gull. So children, in the poem Gull, the poet Grace Nichols, she criticizes, she condemns, and she ridicules the very act of human interference in nature. The poem tells the reader how we humans have polluted and disturbed the environment and the nature itself, and how we humans have affected and disturbed the natural level in multiple orders. So in this poem Gull, in fact this very poem Gull, it tells the reader an incident in which oil that is carried by huge ships in an ocean has leaked somehow, and the Gull has suffered due to that. So the poem basically narrates an incident in which oil that is carried by huge ships has leaked somehow in the ocean, and the Gull, which used to live in the ocean, has suffered due to the leakage of oil. So here in this poem, the poet Grace Nichols, she brings forth a heart-wrenching picture of Gull who has lost her natural home, who has lost her natural habitat, that is the ocean, that is the water. And the poet makes the reader aware of the mistakes. So children, let us all read the poem together. Let us all turn the page to 100. Let's turn to page number 100. I repeat, page number 100. So as I start reading the poem, children, you all are supposed to follow each and every line that shall be read and explained. So without much ado, let us move to the poem that we have in page number 100. So let me read the first stanza for you. So here comes the poem Gull, and it's written by Grace Nichols. So I'll read the first stanza for you. The oil-stricken gull has struggled ashore. The oil-stricken means the gull is totally covered, totally battered in oil, as I told you, because of leakage of oil in the ocean. So the gull is entirely covered with oil and it's struggling and it's trying to get to the shore. Bewildered means it looks like a confused, scratchy means unhealthy young bird who is finding difficulty to take a flight. Although the gull is huge and it's grown up, but now because of the oil, it looks like very thin, unhealthy young bird who is struggling to take a flight and is struggling to get to the shore. Now let us move to the second stanza. Her oil-tarred wings seem heavy as lead as she totters slightly stiff-legged. So the poet here says that the gull's wings have become heavy because the thick oil has stuck to her wings and it has become so heavy that the gull could barely move it. The gull could barely extend its feathers. And it has become very heavy like that of lead. Since lead is considered to be a heaviest metal, here gull's heavy feathers has been compared to the metal lead. So children, you all know that if something heavy is tied to our feet, can we walk easily? No, if something heavy is tied on our feet, we cannot take our steps. It becomes very difficult for us to move when heavy things are tied up in our feet. So similarly, since the entire body of that gull is covered with heavy tar and heavy oil, the gull has become very weak and it totters means it moves in a very weak and feeble way, and it has become very unsteady and has become stiff-legged means it is stuck because of the oil and it cannot move ahead. It's finding difficulty to move with that oil and tar in its leg. So this is a very pathetic condition of the gull that is being portrayed by the poet. The gull can hardly move its wings and the gull could hardly move its legs too. Now let us see the third stanza. Staring out at us with an unblinking, atomic, almost comic surprise. Now children, the gull is so helpless. It can do nothing but to stare at the gathering, but to stare at the people gathered nearby, including the poet too. So the gull stares at the clouds standing nearby with an unblinking eye. Means the gull is not blinking the eyes. Why? Because it is in total awe. It is in total surprise. So it could not understand what is happening to her. She can't believe what she saw. That's why she, with an unblinking eye, stares at the people standing nearby the water as if she is trying to ask some question. Now let us move to the final stanza of the poem. She hasn't taken any sides, but she lost her natural home and more. An unanswerable cry is stuck in her throat. So in the last stanza, the poet Nichols, she tells that the girl has done nothing to human beings, but still she has lost her natural home. Because where does a girl live? As I said, it dwells in seas and oceans. But since the water has been polluted, where earth has laid, now the girl is forced to come out of its natural home, that is water. So just imagine, the girl is very, very unhappy because she has lost her home. Therefore, an unanswerable cry is stuck in her throat. Now see, the girl could not speak out. Why? Because her entire body is drenched in oil, so much so that she has become so weak and feeble, and she is there at verge of death. So she is unable to breathe and she is about to die. But there is one question stuck at her throat. So what is the question? Why? So the poem ends with the question why. That means the girl is asking, what was the fault? What was my fault? Which forced me to come out of my natural home. So the poem ends in a very profound tone where the girl asks the readers the question, what was my fault so that I was forced out of my natural home. So this is the end of the poem. Though this is very short, but yet it is very interesting and profound. Now children, finally let's recapitulate what we have learned today. So let's look at the summary of the poem. A large ship which transports oil through the sea accidentally breaks down on the surface of the sea, and the oil spreads on the surface of the sea and pollutes the sea water. And because of the pollution in the sea water, the girl is forced to come out of its natural home, and the girl could not survive in the polluted water. So what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that we human beings are every day polluting and disturbing the environment, and because of this, birds and animals and other creatures around, they are badly and adversely affected because of our selfish act. So we people need to be aware of it, and we try to preserve the creatures, the natural environment, and everyone as a whole. So children, this is the very end of a very short poem, Gull, written by Nichols. So if you have any further doubts and queries, you may contact the teacher, and the assignment related to this chapter will be forwarded to you all soon. Thank you very much.